Hello, followers, and whoever cares to watch this. Every Friday, I do a little chat at 12:30, and it's on yoga, wellness, life. And Sasha! So today, laughter is medicine is my topic because it really is. Hello, everybody. And it's, for me in my life, I'm so glad you're here. I'm sorry that you're feeling sick. For me in my life, I genuinely feel like it is my dharma to some degree to bring laughter into the world. I enjoy laughing. I like to look for the funny in things. I like to make the funny in things. But I'm also a very sensitive soul. So things do affect me. And as much as I like to laugh and have fun and bring a lightness into the world, which for me is a thing that really helps me get through, the daily stuff. Hi, John. Of the seriousness of life, because let me say, life is very serious. I almost put on a screen saver or whatever filter that had like funny, bunny ears and a nose and stuff. But I really wanted to, drive home that we need laughter, right? We need mental help with laughter for our mental health. This week I had a really tough time. This pandemic has been a nightmare for all of us, right? And we have this thing that people don't want to talk about, they don't want to preach about, they don't want to push people a certain way. Oh my God, it's so good to see you, John. But I'm at the point in because I'm a yoga teacher, so I've been kind of, hi Rachel, I've been teaching throughout this pandemic in-person classes and on Zoom. So, our whole world for everybody has changed in this way. And usually I'll find in myself when I'm having like the most fun in my classes, it's not always because I'm having the most fun in my life. It's because it's my way of dealing mentally with what's going on in the world. So that's kind of my mechanism that I go to. It's the thing that helps me a lot. So some classes I'm more wacky than others. And for those of you who have experienced my yoga classes and we've had a good time, we've been laughing and stuff like that, that is a part of the medicine. That's a part of the yoga in my classes. There's a lot of laughs, there's a lot of jokes. And, a lot of the time I am in a good place, but the more I look at comedy and comedians and I study it, yes, girls. The more you can really see how it's a mental health thing for most people who are in the field of comedy. And my life is good. I like my life. I'm very lucky that I do, that I don't have too many stressors in my life, but when the stressors do come up for me, I'm very sensitive and I let them affect me. And this past week, things just got to me. And what actually helped me was comedy and watching other comedians. And it's funny because, when I see a comedian, and I'm sure all of you can relate to this, when you're watching somebody who's being funny or on stage as their profession, you can pick up pretty quickly whether or not you're like clicking with their humor, So for me, it's like a 3 or 4 minute sort of time frame where I can really say, this person is funny to me or not. And then I can continue watching or not. Lily's doing good. She's doing fine. Thanks for asking. So, and each of us are affected by different kinds of humor. So for me, That's about how long it takes. And then, you know, I do appreciate also the very witty and down-to-earth type of the realness, you know, like a Dave Chappelle sort of thing. I really enjoy listening to people talking also just about life in a very real way. And I think, you know, we see all this stuff on social media, right? It's not real. It's just not real. And I think we need to talk more. We need to be more open. We need to be more honest about what's going on with us without being afraid to be, you know? We live in this world where everybody's kind of afraid to say what they think or say what they feel. Or, you know, for me this past week, I posted a couple of things, and it was, I don't regret it because it's really, you know, it's stuff that's going on for me. But I can see how it was sort of like reactionary for me, you know, and I think being in an emotional place, because of this pandemic, I think a lot of us are in that place. A lot of us are in a place where we're worried. We want our loved ones and those that are around us to be healthy and conscious of not just their own health, but caring about ours, right? So for me as a yoga teacher, when I'm teaching a class, it means a lot to me when people have taken the measures to make sure that they're in the best health so that it doesn't affect me negatively, right? Because for me, it's important to do what I do. And especially over this past year, I know I've gotten a lot of feedback on the mental health aspect of people being able to come to a yoga class throughout this pandemic. I'm amazed, you know, I'm amazed at people. I think that they're just incredible. The community feel of it all has been so important for people, and I want to keep that going, right? I don't want to get sick so that I can't bring that to people. And, you know, in the past year, throughout my career, I've been a pretty healthy person. As far as like teaching classes goes, I haven't had to take much time off for illness, which is like amazing. And I'm grateful for that, right? So when people come to my classes and they're taking the measures to keep themselves healthy so that I can stay healthy and keep teaching, it's like the greatest gift that you can give somebody, I feel. So having said that, I'm not going to go into the whole thing with the vaccine and all that stuff. I've already said enough this week. For those of you who follow me, you can read up on that. But it means a lot to me. It's very, it's thoughtful. And, you know, everybody's in their own place with this, but I personally am concerned for my family and you know, the facility that we're living at, because we have a vulnerable population. And, you know, I want everybody to be happy and healthy. So what I did today to help promote laughter as medicine is come up with a list of comedians, and Sam helped me with this. I got Sam's picks too, my son. Do you know if they still have the slideshow for the Anne, what are you talking about? Oh my God. I don't think that they do have that slideshow, sweetie, but we can find out. Anyway, we came up with a list of comedians that I have found to be funny, and I really think that you need to know about these people if you don't. And I asked Sam for his picks too. And they're not in any order of importance, but I'm going to read them to you. And then if anybody has anything that they want to say about anything, laughter, mental health, whatever, just please chime in the meantime. If you have any comedians that I'm reading off to you that you agree with, also send me your, like. So here's some of my picks, and I'm gonna try and pronounce all the names properly, so hang in there with me. And if you have not listened to these comedians yet, most of them you can find on YouTube or Netflix. Yeah, those are like the two main places that I go to. You know, and then of course there's funny people in life, you know what I mean? Like in your daily life that are, in my opinion, are really important to have in your life. Like I need to laugh, okay? I need to be surrounded by the funny. That's for my mental health. Yes, life is serious. Yes, we have things to worry about. Yes. But I need to laugh, you know? I need to enjoy my life. But I also need to know that people care about me and my health too. Okay. You think you're funny, Sasha? I think you're funny. I think you're hilarious. Okay? I think you're funny. All right, so here's my picks. If you don't know their names, hang in there with me. And I'm also going to put them in the description below. Sebastian Maniscalco. If you have not heard him, you have to find this guy. He's hilarious. Hilarious. And before I go on, because there's a long list, it's really an art form that needs to be recognized as it's a particular art form that a comedian really spends a lot of time putting their stuff together. There's a lot of writing involved. They don't just get up on stage and then be funny. You know, there's a lot that goes into it for them to get to that point. So it's really, it's great to support that art form and to remember that, acknowledge that they put a lot of work into it. Okay, Sebastian Maniscalco. That was my first one. Of course, Jim Carrey. Come on. Okay. Michael McIntyre. He's from England. Oh my God. Now, listen, I'm not going to get to all the people that I've seen that I love, so I apologize in advance because there's so many. This is a guy that I just found recently. His name is Eric Lyden. So good. So good. You have to look at him. Stephen Colbert, which I have to admit, I didn't really click with him until I heard his full life story on Mark Maron's show. Mark Maron is another stand-up comedian, but he also does these comedian interviews. And it's great because you hear the real side, like the full story of their life, and he asks them questions, and it's really, really good. So I would highly recommend listening to that. His name is Mark Maron, and he's on YouTube. You can look at, I think it's the WTF podcast is the name of it. It's so good. It's so insightful. He talks to people like Hugh Grant, and he had Stephen Colbert on there, and it's just great. Hello, I'm Mariah. Okay, so we have Eric Lyden, I just told you about. You have to look this guy up. Stephen Colbert, Seth Meyers. How talented is that guy, okay? Seth Meyers can do different impressions. That amazes me, by the way, how people can do impressions. It's like a whole nother skill level. Eric Lyden, who I just mentioned, he also does impressions, which they're right on the money. It's hilarious. You have to check this guy out. Seth Meyers, Steve Harvey. Who does not love Steve Harvey? I'm sorry, but who does not love this guy? He is so funny. Just to see him laugh that cracks me up. You know what I mean? So he says funny stuff, but his laughter and how he laughs at other people, oh my God, it cracks me up. Jimmy Fallon. How could you not love Jimmy Fallon? I love Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon, you're local to where I am, so if you're hearing this, if you see this, please reach out and come to a yoga class. We'd love to have you and your wife. All right? His laughter's hilarious. Okay, so here's Sam's picks, my son. You ready? Some of this I'm gonna double up on. I'm not gonna repeat people, but I'm going to back him up on some of his. Jimmy Fallon, so good. Okay. Adam Sandler. This is Sam's picks. I like Sandler, but I feel like he's more of like a simple boy humor sort of guy. You know what I mean? Like he's funny and he's cute and everything, but it's like boy humor. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, like that silly, like fart jokes sort of thing. Okay, Kevin Hart, funny. Will Farrell, right? And some of these people, I have a legends list as well. Some of them are also in the legends. I have to admit they are. Jimmy Fallon, again, is on Sam's list. Pete Davidson, he's on Saturday Night Live. If you haven't seen him, he is hilarious. So funny. Adam Samberg, Sam likes, which, you know, again, the simple boy humor sort of thing, in my opinion. Jim Gaffigan, very funny. I'm going to double up on that one. He's a funny guy, Jim Gaffigan. And then another funny one that I agree with, John Mulaney. If you haven't seen him, very good. Very, very good. Okay. Now, female comedians. I have to admit to you, okay? I'm finding it hard to find a good bunch, like a whole bunch of funny female comedians, but maybe I haven't been looking hard enough. So here's my first draft, and maybe in the future we can add to these. Ellen DeGeneres, I just think she's funny. I mean, just the way she dances, she's so funny. But the things that she says, and you know, I heard her talk one time about one of her first times being up on stage and how she just sat there the whole time and ate a sandwich or something like that. Like she didn't even really say anything, and it was such a funny thing to people that she just, like, I guess made faces in between chewing. I don't know. It was like this big hit. So that's funny. Then Tina Fey, of course. Kate McKinnon, absolutely love her. Hilarious. And again, another person who can mimic other people, and I mean, it's just, how do people do that? It blows my mind, right? When it's accurate. That's what I mean. Like anybody can pretend like they're somebody else. You know, like Alec Baldwin does it with, you know, different characters. He's so funny with that. He's on the list too. But how they can be so exact with their impression blows my mind. Okay, so then we have Tina Fey, I said, Kate McKinnon, Melissa McCarthy. How do you not love her? You know what I mean? How do you not love her? She's so funny. Leslie Jones, hilarious. And Kristin Wig. So those are like the top women that I could like muster in my head. And I know there's a ton more. There's a ton. But I don't know, the market seems to be like flooded with male comedians. See, like Sam said Amy Schumer, and he asked me about her, and I'm like, I don't know. I guess she's got a good sense. I mean, obviously, she's very successful. But you know how I said like the clicking of the comedian for me? It doesn't click for me with her. So she's like on a secondary list for me. Is she on your first list, Sasha? What do you think? And Nikki said she loves Melissa. Okay, so here are the legends, okay? After the legends list, I'm going to tell you about a list from a YouTube channel that I've been watching that are more up-and-coming comedians that are very, very good. So here's the legends. Are you ready? George Carlin. Oh my God. Chris Farley, okay? So those two people, rest in peace. But not only was George Carlin funny, well, that's funny, Sasha. Yeah, Sasha, it's not hard to make you laugh. I'm not gonna lie. It's not hard. George Carlin was like a realist on top of being funny, you know, with some things. So very much, in my opinion, like a Dave Chappelle sort of presence, you know, where I feel like they make a real difference on important topics, but they do it in a more of a lighthearted way sometimes, but also being real. So it's valuable. It's very valuable to watch them. Chris Farley, absolute legend. Jerry Seinfeld, Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle is on that list, Mike Myers, Jim Carrey is on that list too, absolutely. Dave Letterman, Steve Martin, you can't not put him on that list. Jon Stewart, love him. Larry David, hilarious. Eddie Murphy, come on, amazing. And also his On That Mark Maron podcast, the WTF podcast, he also interviews Eddie Murphy. Really worth a listen to that as well. Bill Murray, Ricky Gervais, and Steve Carell. So that's my legends list. Okay. Now, there's this thing on YouTube, and it's called Dry Bar. And it's pretty cool. It's like a stand-up comedy place. And it's in Utah, which maybe I will make a plan to go there. When the vid is done. When the vid is done visiting us. Rodney Dangerfield, do you like him? I guess so, since you wrote it. I don't know. I guess I have to revisit Rodney. I wasn't really a big fan of his, but maybe I was too young to really get into his humor when he was like in his bigger days. You know what I mean? And here's my other question, and it's very ignorant of me to ask this. Is he still alive? I don't even know. So I'll revisit that one and see if I feel any differently about him. So anyway, it's called Dry Bar. It's in Utah. It's called Dry Bar because nobody drinks in there. So they keep it dry. And on top of that, if you're a comedian coming in there, you're not allowed to even curse. It's against the rules. So if you can be a comedian in a place like that, he's not dead. Okay, I'll look him up to see what he's up to. I think about him in like the old movies, like wasn't he in Caddyshack or something? Rodney Dangerfield. Dry Bar, if you can be funny in a place where people, Tracy Morgan, how could I not? Sasha, I am so sorry. He's basically your brother at this point, and I forgot him. And he's so funny. I'm so sorry. Hey, Julie. Okay, so back to Dry Bar. If you can be funny, in my opinion, at a place where people are not able to drink, okay? Now, maybe they're high. I have no idea. I don't know. And the comedian can't curse. You know what I'm saying? That's a talent. That's a talent. So here's the people that I have on my list from Dry Bar. Go to YouTube, check these people out. I am going to also, this video is going to be on YouTube as well on my channel, and I'll make sure I list them underneath this video when we're done. And after I take, my children on their errands today. They have errands. I don't know if you know that children have errands, but they do. Eric Lyden, I said him before, worth a watch. Now listen, this week I had a hard time. I told you guys, I was going through stuff, and he, listening to him, I found him, and he really helped me remember that I needed to laugh. So he's one. Michael, I'm going to mess this name up. Michael Palaskak, Palaskak, hilarious. Joe Zimmerman, so funny. Maher Mata. Now, I was revisiting some of these today, and I went to Maher's, and he does this bit on this one show where he's describing being in an airplane, and he's got the microphone stand, and he's showing people the distance of what coach is compared to first class according to where the microphone stand is. Oh my God. And he was talking about Spirit Airlines, and he brought the microphone stand right up to his face, and he said, "This is Spirit Airlines." I mean, it was just so funny because this is the reality of being in a plane nowadays. You're right up close to the person in front of you. And the last person who I just found on Dry Bar, who is so funny, Rob Little. I really appreciate the names of comedians that I can remember easily too. because then you can tell people and makes it simple, you know. And also names that kind of make sense for what they do. That makes it funny to me too. Rob Little. I mean, how could you not remember that name? Okay, so those are all the lists that I came up with. If you think of anybody else, definitely let me know. You can write below this video. Like I said, every Friday we do a little chat, and today I chose laughter is medicine because it's a wellness topic, and we need to laugh more. And because this morning on my YouTube channel, Carrey Yoga, there was a video published that Lily and I did together. Rob Schneider. What's he on, Sasha? I'm trying to remember who he is. A video was published. It's called Laughing Yoga. And this morning when I woke up and I saw it and I watched it, I thought it was so funny. Now, I don't know if I thought it was funny because it was me. I was watching myself and Lily, and it just made me laugh because of that, or if it was really funny. I don't know. But either way, it kind of like really lightened up my day. And it's something to think about, you know, like when you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you do? So on top of laughing, what else? Okay, 51st Dates, Rob Schneider. Okay, I have to look him up. What helps your mental health? You know, I think it's a really important thing to just think about, like, the first thing you do in the mornings. What is the first thing you do? And also throughout the day, what you don't do. You know what I'm saying? To keep you in that place of a good mental health place. And especially now, we all need this more than ever, to be in a good mental health place. So, you know, my husband said to me this week, stop watching the news, you know? And I know that. But it's even like the headlines that you have that pop up on your devices. Use the bathroom first thing in the morning. That's good to know. That's good to know. But what's popping up on your device naturally? Like, what is the logarithm that you're putting out in the world that's then continuing that, it's perpetuating that behavior, that cycle, right? Oh, she looked at this yesterday. Oh, she looked at that yesterday. Let me send her more of that, because obviously she wants more of that, so let me send her more of that. So there's things like that too. And, you know, we love people that are close, you know, people that are close in our lives. There's people that we're just familiar with, and everybody is kind of in different places at times with different topics in the world going on. And we don't have control over other places, people, or things. You know, we just don't. We don't have control. We can only do what we can do for ourselves and those around us. So not to make yourself crazy or ourselves crazy about what other people are choosing. You know, for me this week, there's like definitely like this whole pandemic is giving me a feeling of not being in control. And that's what kind of gets me to a crazy place where I feel like the control in my own life is being determined by what other people are doing or not doing in their lives. So that's, you know, it's a tough place when I get there. It's tough because a lot of the time I am in a lighter place. I'm laughing and I'm having a good time. So for me, I have to remember that laughter is my medicine. And to go there as much as I possibly can. I hope this video helped all of you, or some of you, or, you know, hopefully all of you. And if you have anybody on your list of comedians that you think I would like, please send them to me, because I'll check them out, because I'm just loving comedians. Do I want to be a comedian, like a stand-up? Sure. Do I want to be on Saturday Night Live? 100%. 100%. Now you know that about me. Now you know. What I would love to, I wouldn't want to be a regular person on Saturday Night Live, okay, because it's a lot of work. You know what I mean? Like, they do a lot to prepare for that show. Just like one episode. I just want to be on one, you know? I want to like work with Kate McKinnon and sing a couple of songs with her. Like, that would be fun, you know? Okay, thanks for listening. And I'm gonna put all these lists underneath the video, maybe not immediately, but later. And check the YouTube Carrey Yoga and look at the laughing yoga from today that was published from Lily and I, and tell me what you think. All right, sending love, and thank you for all your support, and I will see you all very soon. Namaste. Thank you, Mariah. Mwah.